Welcome to Nina Speaks Media Image. We have an incredible show, but we're doing something a little different today. I have started up with another partner of mine, actually, that's in Pittsburgh. We've started a show called Private Eyes for Your Private Lives, and it's where you are the star, and it's all about stories that are, I don't want to say the untold stories, but a lot of the stories get sort of buried, or they come out for a couple of weeks and then you don't hear about what's the outcome and what's going on behind the scenes. And what we want to do, which is actually, I'm going to give you the name, is Robert Cresson, and he's going to be my partner in crime, no pun intended, but that's what it is and that's where it's going. We have an incredible show today that's actually on the breaking news of Mr. and Mrs. Troy Long. Their daughter got killed, shot, by a couple of whoever. They were snatching their purses. The mother and the daughter were together, and the mother managed to, I guess, escape, but the daughter unfortunately got shot. And it's such a sad story that it's very hard for me to really bring it to the forefront, but it has to be brought to the forefront, especially for the mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Troy, because it cannot be left alone. And Robert Cresson is the one that brought this to my attention. So we're going to be doing a series, all different stories like that. And so let me introduce you to Robert Cresson, my partner. How are you, Robert?
I'm doing fantastic, Nino, and thanks again for putting this together. I'm really excited about this to help people out there that need to have their story told, unsolved, mysteries. If there's private investigators, police departments, individuals that need help, hopefully they'll reach out to either myself or you through our media platform of Private Eyes for Your Private Lives, where you are the star. Again, how about we just chat, maybe for a minute or two?
Robert, let me just give you, can you explain a little bit about what you do? Because you're a private eye, and you're the investigator, and you're the one that kind of, well, we met many years ago, but we've been talking about trying to get something together to bring it to the forefront and not let these people just sort of, nothing happen and they don't have their story told. And this is why we're doing this first one on a very, very delicate subject. But let me find out a little bit about, let the audience find out a little bit about you.
Oh, absolutely. I've been a private investigator since the 70s. Started my own company in 1982, so I've been doing it for a few years. Yeah. I specialize in extreme surveillance. I enjoy solving puzzles and finding information that other people can't or have failed at. I also enjoy working with the media. They come to me for research information or extreme surveillance. And again, I just feel it's my calling to try to help people. And when I met Troy, it was just so heart-wrenching. That's the final tipping point for me. And again, you and I have been chatting for years about working together. And I had to do something because, again, this is so heart-wrenching. I can only imagine as a father myself if I was faced with this dilemma that I want to make it my point to get, media attention and, house this, clip that we're doing and then make it go viral any way we can. So, again, that's why I was reaching out to you for this.
Yeah, and I think it's very, very important, and I've been reading a lot about the bio and everything of what happened and how it happened, and I just cannot imagine, like you just said, if it was your child, it's just incomparable as to what and how you would do this. And this woman that we have today, and let me introduce Mrs. Stephanie Long and Mr. Troy Long. How are you both?
Hello.
Hi.
We've been better, but we're all right.
We're doing.
You're doing all right. Well, this actually happened on January the 19th
That's
of
correct.
this year. And so it's not very long. It's only 6 months since it's gone by. Are you content and are you happy about us bringing you two to the forefront so that you can tell your story and let other people know how hard it is and how difficult it is? But you've kind of taken a little bit of a turn on this by bringing it out, or wanting to bring it out, because that's my question, and sort of getting other people to be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely. We were 100% behind this, and I had actually wanted to do something like America's Most Wanted, and that's not even on the air anymore. So this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect.
Well, let me explain to them one little bit. Amber Long and you, Stephanie Long, had just, I believe, bought a handbag or something for $14. all very sort of lovely and everything, I think. And you were actually walking, and then these two muggers went to get your handbag. So this is your daughter that we're talking about, and her name is Amber Long. So I just want people to know that this is, you know, your daughter and also your daughter, Troy. So, you know, when it happened,
we had spent the day together. It was kind of, she had given me a gift certificate to Plato's Closet for Christmas, and it was something that she and I loved to do. We had gone to Plato's Closet, and yes, I had found her. She had to have a purse that was big enough to put her boots in it.
Yeah.
Had to. So, you know, and I had found her this purse for $14 at Plato's Closet, and we had actually been to a reception by the Buyers Market,
the Rosen's group.
The Rosen group, the Rosen show, and that broke up about 10:30, and we were on public transit. You know, you got to be green.
Do what
she
you
was
gotta
always public transit. So I wanted to catch the bus and go home. I was in 4-inch heels, and she pulled flats out of her purse and said, "I want to go get my car." And instead of catching the bus, we took the subway across town to the Spring Garden exit, and we got off the subway, and it was very dark. There's a big empty field there, and I said, "Amber, where is your car?" And she said, "It's all the way down there." And I said, "Well, I don't want to go down there." And she said, "Well, you stay here, and I'll go down and get my car and come back and pick you up." And I said, "No, that's not going to happen." So we started walking down this dark sidewalk, and there was nobody else around, and I actually said to her, I said, "This is mother abuse," you know, because I was in 4-inch heels, and we had been dancing for 3 hours, and I just wanted to go home. I didn't want to, you know, and she turned around to me, and she said, "Well, you look hot." And I said, "This is not where I want to look hot," you know?
Now, is this about 11:30 at night by now?
This was about 10:30 at night.
About 10:30 at night, okay.
About 10:30 at night, and we were in front of a parking deck, and it was almost like cobblestones. It was so broken there that I was looking down, and she was about maybe 2 feet in front of me, and these guys, I didn't know that they had followed us in this car, and then they had gotten ahead of us. 2 of them had gotten out, and they were walking up towards us, and I was looking down. When they debriefed me, I said these guys had to have come from behind us because I never saw them. Okay. And one of them, the first I knew, he hit my shoulder as he grabbed my purse off and ran around behind me. And she turned around. There was 2 of them, and she had made eye contact with the other one, who was small, not much taller than her. And she turned around, hearing something behind her, and he followed her around, grabbed her purse, pulled her off balance, and she didn't let go. She pulled back, and he just pulled out a gun and shot her, and then he let go of the purse. He didn't even take the purse, and ran, and they both got into the back of this car, and the car drove off. So there were 3 people, and you know, there are people that know who this was, because if you watch the video, the surveillance video, you know, you can't see faces or anything, but one of them has a very distinctive walk. There are people who know who this is.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that they're eventually going to find them. I feel free of that. But, you know, you had a very sad episode during this, was when you had to hold your daughter, and you just were holding her, and she was, as you said, she was limp, and she was like a rag doll, and she was just, you know, passing away from you. And there was absolutely 100, but nothing you could do.
she was unresponsive from the moment that she fell at my feet. I had barely registered that there was even somebody with her, and I heard the shot, and it sounded exactly like a champagne cork, and I didn't want to believe. I was like, Amber, are you okay? And there was no response, and she just fell at my feet, and she just curled around. This is pitiful. And
it has to be one of the worst things that a mother can actually hear about, but never mind being there. Now, Robert, let's just bring you in a little bit. You first heard about this story through Troy, right?
Yes, Nina.
And how did you respond to it? Because you said you have feelings for all this and everything, and so you decided that you wanted to do something for it, and so we're starting already to help them and see what we can do.
Right. I just heard this story, and it was just, again, so heart-wrenching to me as a parent that I just want to help them with the media. Again, I've worked for television for many years now, and I know it's a powerful tool.
Yes.
And again, I want this to go national, international, that, again, as Stephanie was saying, this gentleman, this person that did this, has a distinctive walk. So, again, we will be airing clips of the walk in our PrivateEyesForYourPrivateLives.com. to, again, hopefully get this passed around. I will make it a point to, get it out there to as many venues as we can. We also have Al Levine with us from Sportsline Pittsburgh, who's going to be joining us here in about 5 minutes. And he's going to take over my seat because, again, he's a known personality here in Pittsburgh, and he will help us get more media exposure here in Pittsburgh also. But, again, I would like to help dissect it, and then also I maybe want to talk to Stephanie maybe about even thinking about hypnosis. Because I have worked with hypnosis some in the past.
Why don't you ask her right now and see what she says about that?
What do you think about that, Stephanie?
I would be totally willing to do pretty much anything that I think would help. I've thought about asking about hypnosis because like I said, I don't have a I wasn't even consciously aware that these guys were coming towards us. Mm-hmm. But I had a little bit of an awareness of the car because the car had turned around, and I think that helped because they have footage of the car turning around.
Is that correct, Robert? They can actually probably maybe able to get a license or color. I mean, what the car was.
The car they think it had a New York license, but it's a digital camera, and they can't get enough detail. They have a picture of this car driving by with the killer looking out the window, and it's not clear enough to make an ID.
So can they make that clear, Robert? Can they sort of, put that together a little better?
Well, again, we were informed that the FBI actually tried that, and they've only got it so clear. So, again, that's why I thought, the media and going viral would be a better help. So we do have some little pieces with the car, the license plate. Again, that's why I want to reach national, international, New York. I'm going to be reaching out to my dear friend Vinnie Parco, who I'm going to be introducing you to in the weeks to come. Wonderful. He's a world-renowned private investigator based in New York, a dear friend of mine. But again, I'm not going to stop even just with New York. Again, I'd like to focus, though, too, on that walk. If Stephanie could describe that a little bit. And again, I'm only going to be on for about another 5 minutes, and then we're going to bring Al on here. But how about it, Stephanie? Can you give us a little bit more details on the walk? Is that okay, Nina?
Of course, absolutely. Okay. Because it helps.
Watching it is going to make it very clear. I mean, anybody who sees that walk, there have to be people who know who this is. There's a Philadelphia underworld kind of a no snitch thing that getting through to them that this isn't snitching, this is a public service, because this guy needs to be off. He's got to be angry. He's got to be, I don't know, but he needs to be off the streets.
Right. He probably. I'm sure he got drunk at least once or twice and probably talked about it to someone. And again, we're hoping that someone will come forward for us here.
Yeah, something will happen. Yeah, Roy.
And there were three of them. There were three of them.
Right.
Yeah, and Troy, now what are your thoughts on all this media that we're trying to bring out, and we're trying to, elaborate on this story so it becomes very well known in Pittsburgh that this is who they're looking for. They're looking for someone at this time of night in this car, and he walks like this. So you've got three pretty good things going there.
Well, whenever I talked to Bob about it, or Bob actually talked to me about it, I just told him how helpless I felt living in Pittsburgh, this happening in Philadelphia, and me really not having much contact. We talked to detectives who say, we're working on it, and Bob was like, well, I might be able to get this out even further, and I said, I would do whatever you can do. I said, I am in. I said, I would do anything that I can do in order to get it out there so that someone, because I believe she's right, I believe someone's got to know. I said, this driver, the guy who drove the car didn't really do anything but drive the car. $30,000 reward is being offered in order for that. That driver should be calling in saying, hey, I know who killed, give me the $30,000. I just can't believe that he doesn't have the heart. I can't believe that one of these three people aren't a parent. And
I also think you feel that this is something that you should absolutely 100% do for your daughter. She is
absolutely.
So you're going to do, and also I know you have another program. You brought out a foundation, or you're connected to a foundation where you want to help other women. And as you were saying, Stephanie, that you were not conscious. It's a funny thing because you were conscious of being in a place you shouldn't be, walking, yet you weren't conscious, you were looking on the ground, you weren't conscious of what was around you, you weren't kind of paying attention. And I think what you want to bring out is if any woman or whoever's going to be in a dark place or a place where there's not many people or nothing's happening too much, that to be aware and be conscious of what is around you.
I have made a lot of trips to Philadelphia. There's a group called Handbags for Peace, which was actually founded by Michelle Martin and some of her friends, Taima Sanchez, and the whole thing of the Handbags for Peace is exactly that. It's promoting. They have done self-defense seminars. They have done a rally, which I went and spoke at, and I have been there for all of their events pretty much because that's what they're doing. They are talking to people about being aware, and it wasn't a good place to break my ankle either, and that's why I was looking down.
Oh, that's probably, there's something going on and something was happening. How comfortable are you feeling? Obviously, you come on the show today. Are you comfortable with getting this out and trying to help other women and other young people, to be aware and to, as you say, bring
absolutely.
Bring the universities. We're having a lot of shootings lately. I mean,
I have actually been talking to Philadelphia University about offering self-defense classes. And I truly believe that it's something that we should be offering in the high schools. Get it into the auditoriums. They have assemblies anyway, and it's something that we should be offering in the high schools so that girls particularly have some idea. I mean, the scenario, if you watch the tape of Amber being attacked, I learned in the first 20 minutes of that first seminar that I watched on self-defense what she did wrong. If she had just stepped into it and used
some of that, she would have been here today.
Right.
Well, science is the greatest thing. Robert, I know you said you have to leave, and we're going to get Earl Levine in, who is another partner involved in what we are trying to do, is bringing all this to the forefront. Robert, what would you like to say before you leave?
Again, I just want to thank you and everybody that helps put the show together. Also the Longs for coming and being so brave to air this. And again, thank you, Nina, again. And let's introduce Al.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions. Stephanie, you were the one there, and I'm not leaving you out, Troy, but because I know you're the dad and the whole bit, and obviously you're feeling just as much the feelings as Stephanie. But Stephanie, you were there, and while you're holding her, and and then the ambulance comes. Who actually called the ambulance? How did all that happen? Because we haven't quite know that.
Well, there was no ambulance. There was no ambulance. They got my purse, so I didn't have a phone. I was scrambling through Amber's huge new purse for her phone, and there was somebody that had just gotten, a couple of guys that had gotten out of a truck up the road, and I screamed out to them that my daughter had been shot, and they called 911, and the police were there within, I don't know, within moments, and it was a big SUV followed by another police car, and the guy got out of the SUV and started asking questions, and the other guy got out and said, I heard that somebody was shot. And I rolled Amber back and showed them there was just a little tiny hole, and it didn't even bleed much, but when he saw the hole, he said, oh, I'm not waiting, and he just picked her up and put her in the back of the SUV and put me in the front, and we took off.
So you got nothing but praise for the police department.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They are so underfunded, and they are just doing, I mean, I know for a fact, because I was calling in, that the detective that debriefed me that night dropped me off at Amber's apartment at 3:30 in the morning.
No, this is obviously after the accident. This is also after she passed away.
This is she died at 11:15. She died 45 minutes after.
Yeah, but you are now getting dropped off at her apartment.
At 3:30 in the morning at her apartment.
And you're all alone. You're by yourself. Wow. How did you manage that? Because Troy wasn't there.
No, I was by myself. I tried to buzz the guy upstairs, her neighbor, and he didn't answer, so I found her key and I went up, and I didn't even take off my coat. I just lay down with her phone, and I just held on to her phone.
I'm going to take a little break for you for the minute. Okay, we're going to have a little, so collect yourself, get yourself back together again.
That's okay. It's all right. I've talked about it, so, you know.
You are being wonderful. You are being so amazing. But I just want to introduce O. Levine is now with us. Hey, O, how are you?
Ninon, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually get to see you in person, even if it's over Google Plus. It's still I get to see you.
Thank you very much, and I'm just happy to be here to help because I have a public access TV sports talk show.
Yes.
It's seen all over the greater Pittsburgh area on Verizon.
So will they be able to air this? I mean, can they air this program, or you're going to make sure that happens?
We can try to do that once we get a copy of this, or we get a link to it. I will do it. I can even post it.
Yeah, Steve Toth, who is our producer, my producer at the moment, he's got his own company, which is Conscious Evolution Media. So he's always very obliging, and he'll definitely give you the tape, and I'm sure, you know, he'll obviously want to help if he can help, but the problem is he's in Denver, but at least he can supply a tape and supply something for us. So that is really good. Now, is there any questions you would like to ask Troy and Stephanie?
Well, I just wanted to tell you they were on my show on June 24th, even though I have a Pittsburgh Sportsline talk show. They were on because I like to help other people.
Okay.
And what's sort of ironic is Pittsburgh's a little bit more progressive than you think and on the cutting edge. On my sports talk show, we've already had self-defense experts from all over the area that have been on my show and have talked exactly about some of the things Stephanie and her daughter would have needed to help them to be more cognizant and actually to protect themselves. I've had experts on my show that'll show you a couple techniques if somebody did come up like they did to grab a purse, to try to knock you down, to try to shoot you. So we have this already that we've put on the air. So I just want to give all the credit to Troy and Stephanie because I have a daughter who's 26, Casey, and my son's 23, Andrew. And I would be at wit's end. I don't know, even though I'm the talking machine, I don't know if I could go on air like they are, because this really tugs at my heart.
It does. It's funny you're saying that, because I was reading the bio from the website, and I was reading everything about it last night, and I was stayed up very, very late because I was so interested. But it's fascinating, the story and all the things that have come out. I mean, you know, she has gone up to God, and she's going to have a beautiful life up there. So I kind of think of things in a kind of a different way. Although she's not here with us, she's still with you. She'll always be with you. And she's up there, and she's probably looking down right now and saying, "Go, Mom, go, Dad, do the thing, do it." You know, and I'm sure, you know, this is how I think. You know, I'm not one of these positive, crazy thinkers. But I was reading what everybody has done for you and how everybody has helped. But I have one thing, and you will understand this, is that we have a lot of meetings, and we have a lot of stuff we do. But it always ends up, as I call it, lip service. I don't see the action. So we've got to try to see how we can get people to actually have action on this and actually teach. Whichever who wants to, I'll ask you. Stephanie, how do we do that? Not the lip service. I've been to so many meetings with lip service and nothing happens. How do we get this? Because Earl just said he had a lot of programs about this, so this shouldn't be happening.
I totally agree, and like I said, you know, I really kind of think that if we can make a big enough noise about it, I'm telling you that I think this should be taught in the schools. I mean, Amber was a huge DARE graduate. You know, she was totally into the no drug abuse, and so I know that kind of assembly and indoctrination works. And if you put self-defense training into the schools, I mean, there have got to be local trainers pretty much in every part of the country who would be willing to come in for 3 hours and a free assembly, because, you know, it's going to get them.
I also think, you know, because I know a lot of these DARE people go into the schools, because I had my TV show out of Los Angeles, and I had it for 16 years, and I had it every day for 16 years. So I know what the DARE people do, but they do come into this, police do come into the schools, and they stand there and give talks. But I think we need more demonstrations. I think we need more of sort of, how does it happen? And let's pretend we're in a dark alley, or let's pretend we're coming out of a nightclub, or let's pretend we're in a nightclub, or, you know, whatever the case is. I think that we need to actually do it rather than to stand there, because kids will look at somebody and they'll watch and they'll listen and they'll half fall asleep, because I've done these things myself in school, and the kids, like, how they fall asleep, they're not interested, or somebody yapping away. But I think if you had something that maybe we could start creating to actually perform it and do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, you get these people in there. They are trainers, and they're not going to just stand there and talk about it. They're going to show you. They're going to bring somebody that they can demonstrate. And I mean, Handbags for Peace. I think July 12th will be the third actual hands-on. They've gotten, I don't know, probably nearly 100 ladies through. By the time they get done with this one, it's I didn't do a head count, but okay. I've been to 2 of them, and they are 2-hour hands-on. This is what you do when, you know, and it's wonderful.
Absolutely. Now, Earl, back to you. I mean, if they have these things going on, is there any way that you can film these things and then put it out there so we have it in the media, or even put in the schools?
Yes, we already have people in our area from a couple different gyms that are involved with boxing, MMA, you know, and everybody has negative connotations about those sports, but they also teach self-defense. You have a lot of young girls and women learning these things. After all, I have a daughter. I have 3 sisters. You want them to be cognizant of their area, how to defend themselves, or even just be able to run away. So there's all kind of techniques. There's even techniques from the Israeli army that we have people around here, Krav Maga, that they teach people. So we have some of this stuff. It's just exposure. How do you do it? Social media. Like we're talking. It's like conversation, like Stephanie's talking to people, meeting other people because of this tragedy. So that turns that positive energy into something that we can help somebody else.
Absolutely. Because this is something, I mean, we can't bring Amber back, but we can actually use her as, I don't even want to say an example, but that's what we're actually doing to make sure this doesn't happen to somebody else's daughter. I mean,
Right.
can anybody imagine out there having a 26-year-old daughter that actually dies in your arms? I mean, this has got to hit home somewhere. And I think, I truly believe that women out there, and I'm talking to you out there, women, please be more aware of what's going on. Don't wander around in a daydream all the time, because it's the men that are attacking the women. Women aren't, I don't see any women coming up and snatching a bag. I haven't really heard of that yet. That does happen, I don't know. But this is something that a man comes up and does and takes hold of a helpless woman. So we've built ourselves up tremendously as women, and I think you'll understand that, Stephanie, in the workplace and lots of places we're building ourselves up, we're getting there, we're understanding. We will never, ever have the strength of a man. So we've got to think of other ways. Right, Stephanie?
And a lot of the self-defense is aimed at, what can you do as a smaller, weaker person with somebody larger, but they teach you how to use leverage, and they teach you how to go for the areas that are going to make them flinch, and use that to get away. Because one of the things that they've repeated over and over again is that these guys, these little small-time thugs on the street, they don't know what they're doing. They're not trained, they're not marksmen. They're not trained in self-defense. They don't know what they're doing. And if you do, you can get away. You can keep your purse.
That's a good point out there. So we don't actually, Troy, we don't actually look as a man, because he could be just as helpless as you are, because he doesn't know anything. All he's interested in is taking this purse. Would she have been better off, because the reason why she was holding onto the purse was because you just bought it for her and she just loved it and wasn't going to let it go.
No, that is not
that's
true.
Not the reason.
No, it is because she was a very feisty
person.
And very self-motivated person, and if she had still been carrying her ratty old bag that she'd been carrying for years that was made out of vinyl and had threads hanging off of it, which is why I made her replace it, if she had still been carrying that, she wouldn't have let go of that either, because it was hers, and it was full of her stuff, and that guy didn't deserve it.
So
and
the message out there is let go and let him have it.
Exactly, and that to me is wrong. That is rewarding his behavior. As a parent, I don't condone that either. Learn to protect yourself.
But at the same time, you should let go, because something might happen to you, and maybe that's why I'm not going to start judging it at all. But
if there had been previous incidences where, that kind of thing was out there, she could get, you could get shot by doing this, yes, then obviously the idea would be let go, give it up, but there wasn't that kind of a...
But she may not have known they had a gun. I mean, he must have suddenly pulled it out. Who knows? I'm sure he had it hidden somewhere.
It was in his pocket. They say he pulled it out.
Go ahead.
Could I give you a tip that may help you and anybody else if they're listening?
Absolutely.
Everybody has a key fob for their car, right? Or most people do. Yes. Don't you have an alarm button? If you have that near you, press that alarm button, and a lot of these guys who are amateurs and etc. will run. Yeah. Think about it. If they hear an alarm going off, or you have something on your fob, press that. That may buy you a few seconds to make a move. Think about it. That's one safety tip that isn't real hard or difficult to try to do.
Let me ask you something though. Is there a lot more of these shootings and these stories that we really don't hear about?
Oh, it's so tragic when you hear one. And the news is so full of it. There are plenty of these things that aren't even reported in every city. Yeah. We know that. So how do we get the word out? And it's even like domestic violence.
We're gonna get it out there with our new show, Private Eyes for Your Private Lies, where you are the star, and we're gonna bring these stories up. Even if they haven't been out there at all, we still want to help people. And I think what the greatest thing that we can do through the media, and this is what you mentioned, was that through the media it can go to more places, many places. And I think more people hear of the stories, the untold stories, because there's thousands of them out there that we don't hear about. We're just fortunate enough to be able to help you, Stephanie and Troy, with your story because of Robert. And so this is like a circle coming round. Bring it out there. Let people know what is going on. Don't hide your head in the sand. Bring it out. Do what you can do.
Right.
Absolutely.
This is the beginning to help people like Stephanie and Troy. This will start it. This is the little seed that's being planted. Think about it. We're going to make it grow from today on.
Absolutely, and we want more to our audience out there, from Robert Crescent and also Al Levine, and sort of from me, Nina de Verderosa. We want all your stories. I don't care how big they are or how small they are. It's a story. If anything's happened to you out there that has been untold, we want to hear all about it. We want to bring you to the forefront. We want to make you the stars. So, and I hate to say you two have become the stars, but you're becoming the stars of something that should be out there. And you've graciously enough come in, because a lot of people, I don't know whether they feel ashamed or they just don't want to tell the story, but it's nothing to be ashamed about when you have a story like this. I mean, even if it's just to help other people, because that's what we're doing. Right, Stephanie?
That is absolutely right, and that has been one of the tragedies that Michelle and her friends in Handbags have run into, because Amber's story is not the only one. Oh. But I am the only one who has come forward and put myself in front of the media and said, this is what happened and this is a tragedy. And in Philadelphia, it is actually a pretty well-known story, because...
because you've put it out there. That's why. That's the only reason, because you've opened up.
We keep it out there.
I went down and talked to the media the day after she was killed, and that is probably the hardest thing that I have ever done in my life. But I knew that the only way that they're going to catch these guys is if people see it and hear about it and know.
And don't forget about it.
And don't forget
Until
about
it's done.
That's right.
So,
and my daughter was worth it. She was a one. I have examples of her art if you want to see. She was a wonderful
someone to bring. I don't want you to get up out of your chair, but if someone can bring it to you, I would like. You have it right.
I have it in arm's reach.
Oh, I've never seen such art in my life, and I was looking at all of it, and this is what she was. She was an artist, and
she was in architecture. She was actually an architect.
Wow! Look at these. I mean, these are incredible. Incredible.
And this is all pen and ink done on canvas. These are the originals.
Yeah. So you have to keep those, and
I will keep these, but I do
keep the originals. And I know you have for sale. You have prints for sale, correct?
I do have prints for sale of the.
And do I understand the prints are also going to go to the foundation? Do you have a foundation? You have a foundation.
I don't know if you can see, but
I can see it. It's amazing, amazing. Do you have a foundation? I know you're using other foundations.
She graduated from Philadelphia University in 2011, and so it is the Amber Long 11 Scholarship Fund, and it is specifically for architecture students who have a passion for sustainable design, because she did. She was absolutely passionate about sustainable design, and the president of the university just wrote a lovely little article dedicating their latest publication to Amber Long, because her thesis was the most amazing thesis that they had seen in years, not just in her class, but in years.
Well, they said that when she worked beyond and above all. She worked harder than anybody else.
Yes. Yes, so she absolutely, she poured her heart and soul into everything,
Did she not do gymnastics, and she gave that up? She loved gymnastics, but she gave it up because she wanted to concentrate on one thing, right?
Yes,
that's correct.
At the end of 11th grade, she was the Pennsylvania State all-around champion, level 9, age 16 and above. And her coach was ecstatic. You know, he had been her second father for years and years. And he was like, well, next year we're going national. And she said, no, I love gymnastics, but I can't do both, and I want architecture. And I need to put my time and energy into architecture now. And she turned her back on it, and it was incredibly hard for her. I don't think most people understood how she felt like she was cutting a part of herself off. But
she knew exactly what she was doing.
She couldn't do it all, and she made the right choice. I mean, she was she had
amazing.
She had the passion and the talent and the vision to truly be a great architect and to make a difference in the world.
Absolutely. She's now making a difference because now she has a scholarship fund, which is Amber Long 11. So they can actually go to your website. What is the website they can go to where they can actually
Amber J. Long. It's www.amberjlong.com.
Okay, it's Amber J. Long, not just Amber Long, amberjlong.com.
Right.
And you can purchase any of the pictures. I believe they go from $15, $30, $60. I think they're all different prices that they can have. And all that money will be donated to a scholarship for anybody who can go into the same realm as she was in. Oh, how cool is that? Huh?
It takes $25,000 to start a scholarship to fund it. So we're working on it. We're working towards that.
Back to you, Earl. So if we get this out on the public access and maybe on some other stations, we could try to raise this money and get somebody out there that can do the same thing.
I believe we can do it. We can make something positive out of this. That'll be the greatest legacy to leave.
Yeah. I mean, it should be a gift for all of us to be able to do for a young lady that was so talented. And did she not also sing?
Yes. She could sing, she could dance. I've got a video of her. She was in a competition, actually. The same year she graduated, she was in a competition for swing dancing. Oh. And, it's absolutely a delightful video.
And the reason I'm bringing up all her different attributes to the world and what she has done is because we cannot forget, although she has passed away, we cannot forget what she put into the world and what she did. So I think everybody out there should know that this was a very talented young lady. She was a wonderful, wonderful woman. And she would make anybody happy. She would walk into a room and the room
definitely.
She had the big smile, and
always.
And she was always positive. Yep.
Always.
Even when she was personally down, it was positive that she put out.
Now, Troy, we've heard a lot from Stephanie. Your feelings a little bit. This is your daughter as well. So how are you taking it on?
Well, it's been tough, being that it was my only child and will be my only child, and I've put myself into work, and which is how, of course, I met Bob, and it's that's what's been getting me through that, and my partner. Other than that, I don't think I would have made it through, actually, because it's been very, very difficult.
Yeah, I would imagine, we always gravitate to the woman because the woman brings the child up, but there's also the dad, which is you, and it's just as much your daughter.
Exactly. Well, it was always the three of us, actually. Yeah. It was, but when she grew up, and it was always the three of us. Actually, Stephanie and I didn't separate until actually she was in school.
She was in college
for the second or third year.
Yeah.
So it was, and before that, it's the three of us. We did everything together.
I didn't even know you were separated, so that's, I thought you look so happy together, I think. But or at least
we've always been good friends, so
that's amazing. So and you'll probably even get closer now than I'm not saying get married again, but you'll be very close, and you're very you are understanding because you have so much obviously to offer each other and to help each other and also to support each other.
Right.
You need a lot of support. So of course this is
nobody understands better.
Yeah.
Neither one. I mean, nobody's going to understand like you, Stephanie, and like you, Troy. No one's going to understand at all of what's going on, of what's happening. What message would you like to give out there, Stephanie, to the mothers out there on how to protect their daughters and how to help them?
I as I said, I truly believe that, you should get them some pepper spray and make sure that they take some self-defense classes if they're going to be living in a city, if they're going to be, it's a dangerous world, and it's getting more dangerous all the time, and you really can't say, even if you're living in a small town, that you're safe or that your daughter is safe, and that is something that a parent can do.
I don't think you're safe anywhere. I think you've got to be very much aware, and I think what your message you're trying to put out there is women, mothers, please be aware, even if your daughter's 26 and can take care of herself and doesn't want mama telling me what to do, still be aware, still have little conversations about what could happen or what might happen and things like that. What about you as a father, Troy?
Well, to pay attention, to always be aware of your surroundings.
Okay.
It's something that I felt that I had always had taught Amber, and I think she was pretty much aware.
She was aware. She made eye contact.
I believe that. I believe that she did. Because I always taught her that. Just be aware of your surroundings. Always pay attention. Never look at your feet. Always look 3 feet ahead of you, and always make sure you know what's going on around you.
That's easy to say when you're not wearing 4-inch heels.
I understand that. I'm just saying that's what I do. I always, and Amber did do that. Amber always did look ahead. When I drive 5 cars ahead. I don't drive to the next car ahead of me. I'm always, and I think you need to be aware of your surroundings at all times. I really do, especially in a situation like they were in.
Yeah, what do you think of the gun laws? We've had too many shootings. We have a lot of shootings in schools everywhere. There's shootings going on everywhere. There's
I know.
To hear about. Your opinion on the gun laws?
To me, they should just get the guns off the street, but that's never going to happen. So to me, the guns should be off the streets. I don't believe that'll ever happen, but I believe they should be.
They should be. You, Stephanie?
Again, I think it's more, like he says, they're never going to get the guns off the streets. The people that want them for illicit use are always going to be able to get them. So again, if we are taught how to handle guns, if children are taught how to handle them and how to respect them and what to do I think it would be a safer world.
I agree, and I don't think a child is too young anymore. I don't think it's sort of under 16 or whatever the age is to have a gun. I have no idea what the age is, but I don't think with a gun that should be a... what do you think about these gun laws and what's going on?
Well, I think back to the history of our country. They had guns in their house, at their table, they hunted. They weren't shooting each other. There's something wrong with society. I think the root is the people. You have to educate them. They have to start caring about their neighbors, their friends, at least the community. And this is how you start this. I'm here to honor Amber J. Long, Stephanie, and Troy for stepping out. And I think that's a start. That's how you build a community. Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, they don't always agree in sports. But when it comes to daughters and sons, I'm a little bit humorous at times, but this is serious, and the laughter does help. So we can come together on sports at times, and for somebody like this, Amber J. Long, to honor her personality, the people that she touched in their lives, even me right now, because I've read about her, seen her photos and everything else. Just think about that. That's the legacy you're going to leave now. That's the positivity you're going to put out there to help others. If this helps one person, I'm happy, because now somebody will be saved. And it'll start this way. And there's going to be more. We'll put this out. These videos will come out.
Good.
Robert
Cresson with what he's doing, this will go national. It'll go viral. This is just the start of it.
It should go viral, because there's something written down here, and it says, "I'm dismayed and disgusted by the people who know who did this, and they haven't come forward." Now, Stephanie, you actually, I think you said this, that there are people out there that know who did this crime and had nothing to do with it, but they know the people that did it. As said, or as Robert said, that somebody had a conversation somewhere and they talked about it at some time. Now, why? And I'm giving a shout out there, please. If anybody's out there that knows about Amber Long and what happened, and these 2 people, or 3 people actually, because there was the driver and 2 people that got out of the car went for you and went for Amber. So there's 3 people involved. Someone out there has to know. And you said this statement. You're very disappointed with this.
Like I said, I mean, the one guy who was actually the one who got my purse, not the one who shot Amber, but he had a very, very distinctive walk. He kind of, you know,
swaggered.
Anybody who sees that video, who knows that guy or has seen that guy, knows who that was. And the silence is deafening. There's a $30,000 reward, and the silence is deafening. You know, nobody is coming forward and saying, I know that guy. Now, is that because it's gang-related? Is that because these guys are protected somehow? Is that because these guys were family? I don't know.
It doesn't have to be somebody connected to the gang that's going to come forward. It could be anybody. It could be a layman. Now, maybe if we put out there that you know, if somebody comes forward, their name's not mentioned, they're not mentioned, nothing will be mentioned, just as long as we can find something out about Amber Long and these 3 people that did this in the car. That's all you want to know. We don't have to mention any names or who they are or where they come from or anything. Just, you know, that might help. I don't know what's going to help.
We hope so. You know, that is my hope all the way through. That is why, you know, I drove 4 hours to be here, because anything is worth a try.
Yes.
Anything is worth a try. I couldn't tell you, you know, how many interviews I've done in Philadelphia. Harrisburg, and it's just as
Pittsburgh.
much as I can get to get it out there.
Yeah. And so yes, but although you've done all this media stuff and everything, it's still nothing's come in, right?
Right.
No, still nothing's come.
Nothing.
Oh, why hasn't nothing come in? Oh.
I don't know. I know that the Philadelphia police have worked on it. I know that they have put in very, very, very long hours. I know they devoted a 10-man team to it. I doubt that it's still a 10-man team devoted to this, because they've had more shootings this year, more homicides this year than New York City has. They are up. They are way up on homicides in Philadelphia this year.
Wait a second. Do you think a lot of people are in cahoots here? You think a lot of people, like, you know, this one's getting this and this is all trying to be pushed under?
I
answer that.
I think that the sheer weight of numbers eventually is going to bury the case if nothing gets done. Yes.
But see, I don't believe that nothing is going to be done, and because I know Robert Cresson and he's got me right here, so I'm just going to keep pushing forward, and we'll just keep bringing it up, and we'll just keep doing it.
And that's why we're doing this, is because we want to keep pushing it forward too. We want to keep it out there. We want the Philadelphia detectives and police to actually see this, so that they say, "Oh God, they're still out there. Let's go get them." You know,
this hasn't been
we're going to remind them of it.
Yeah. So repetition, Earl. Can you hear me, Earl?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So repetition and us getting it out there. Repetition is always good, right? So we've got Troy and Stephanie here that are willing to do anything to get it out there.
Well, we can even try to put this out monthly. Try to tie in some self-defense classes or anything else in honor of Amber J. Long. Maybe we can start some different things here in Pittsburgh. So then it'll spread back to Philadelphia. They'll hear we're doing something here. And we already started doing that, so I'm all in. Robert Cresson brought me on board. You know, I'm happy to help with something like this for 2 great people and their daughter, and that's what it's about here.
So Stephanie, you know, are you up to all this? Are you up to? It seems like you are. It seems like you're not going to stop, because you need. I know what you need. You need closure.
Definitely.
You can't get your daughter back, but you want closure, and the closure you want is to get these 3 guys.
That's correct.
Am I right in saying 3 guys or 2 guys?
I want to get them off the street. That's, you know, it's. Do I think that, you know, if they get put in jail for whatever, you know, for however long, that's really justice? Nothing will ever bring my daughter back, and nothing that this guy could ever do could make up for what she could have done, because she was the kind of positive, visionary person that this world so desperately needs. You know, she was just a very strong, not driven, but focused.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Very talented. Very talented.
she wanted to make the world a better place. I mean, she really did. And this guy could never, even if they caught him and he reformed and he tried to, you know, there's nothing that he could ever do that could match what she could have done. But getting him off the street and keeping somebody else from getting killed, that right there is what makes it, and getting the message out there about the self-defense, and hopefully helping some other mothers not go through this.
And also, I think that even if when we're out there and we see women around and women are walking by themselves or something, and just to keep an eye on them, and just to, you know, hey guys out there, you know, you see women walking by themselves, just keep an eye, you know, just, you know, make sure everything's okay and everything's fine, you know. I think we need to start helping each other. We seem to be drifting the other way, but I think we need to come back and start helping each other. I need from you another website where we can get hold of Amber. Amber Long, amberjlong.com. Oh, I got it, www.amberjlong.com.
That's the one.
Earl Levine, what about you? What's your email? What's your website?
Well, you could just go to Pittsburgh Sportsline on Facebook, and all of our shows are archived on YouTube. So Pittsburgh Sportsline at Sips Sports Bar on June 24th, 6/24/14. That's when Troy was on and Robert Crescent brought this to our station. BPTV studio, Bethel Park, you know, public access TV. So our show is there, the interview's there. It's at the beginning of our show. Normally we do a sports talk show, but I waived what we normally do the first 15, 20 minutes just to try to help Amber J. Long. And now that I've met, you know, her mom, Stephanie, I'm all in. Even though she's from Philadelphia and they're both from
I am not.
I have to put that in. Because I appreciate loyalty, but we're in the same state, so we will help. Okay.
Well, I have to say we have to close the show, but we're actually closing on a very high note. I'm actually looking at Troy and Stephanie with a smile on their face, because we're going in the right direction, and we came on a little wobbly, but now we're leaving on a very happy note. I mean, commend you for both coming on and opening this up and bringing this to the forefront, and bringing this, and of course this new show, which is called Private Eyes for Your Private Lives, where you are the star. We want you to tell your story. We want also you to bring your story to us. So don't forget to get hold of us. And you can also go to our website. It's very new, and I think there's just a couple of pages because this is all very new. And so you can go to www.privateeyesforyourprivatelives.com, and you will see what we're starting up and what we're doing. We're going to bring many, many shows to the forefront. We're going to try to help people like Troy and Stephanie Long, who are amazing. Thank you both for coming on. Earl, thank you for coming on. Robert Crescent, where are you?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. We're going to do what we can for you. Take care.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate it. It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, I think she's gone.
That's it.
Is that
I
it?
think we're
I
done.
think so.
I think that's it,
I
guys.
think she's gone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh my. Let me see. I got Conscious back.
What? Now it's him.
I don't know what.